What is good, YouTube? This your boy Aaron, and I am back for another video. And today, we're talking about the Green Bay Packers, baby. You know the season is almost here, and we're in training camp now. And with the Green Bay Packers, they're looking to ascend. They're looking to get to that Super Bowl contender realm, just how we were back in 2010 and just how we were during the later years of Aaron Rodgers, 2019, 2020, and 2021. Now we're in 2025, and I want to do a list. These are the 5 players that are going to determine whether the Packers are Super Bowl contender or just another first round or maybe even second round and out team. Number 5 on my list, I want to go with the free agent signing that we just acquired, and that is Aaron Banks. Aaron Banks came from the 49ers. I believe he was a decent guard when healthy. He was a 65 overall with 60 passing grade, which isn't the greatest, pretty mediocre. But when you look at the run block grade, that's what intrigues me the most. 68.9. Not bad at all. That's about starting caliber. And when you look at our lads from a year ago, it shows Elton Jenkins is the left guard. Josh Myers, who's not on the team anymore, is the center. Well, this year, when we look at the new depth chart, the projected depth chart, it's looking like Aaron Banks is going to be the left guard for the Green Bay Packers, and you're going to have Elton Jenkins move to the center position. Hopefully, he plays a lot better than Josh Myers played last year. More so than not, I believe he will. So Aaron Banks is going to fill the load for Elton Jenkins' position, and Aaron Banks is going to have to play very well. Just how Elton Jenkins played well for that slot for many years. Here's the thing with the Green Bay Packers and the running game. As great as they were last year with Josh Jacobs, they can definitely get better from an efficiency standpoint. If you don't know run block win rate, that is self-explanatory. That's for the offensive lineman. And when you look at the Green Bay Packers, which this is the run block win rate right here, they were 23rd. They were 7th in pass block win rate, which is good. But in terms of run blocking win rate, they were 23rd. So the offensive line wasn't all that efficient, and Josh Jacobs was covering a lot for the offensive line mistakes and deficiency. So in order for the Packers to be a contender, they're going to need to improve in that area, and they're going to need to have a more efficient running game. That's why Aaron Banks was signed for the enormous amount of money that we gave him, is to make sure that the running game, the run blocking is at its best. So he needs to play well in order for this team to progress, especially when Elton Jenkins is now the center. Moving on to the fourth player that is going to determine if the Packers are going to be a Super Bowl contender or not. And that is the other free agent signing, and that is Nate Hobbs. Obviously, when you lose Jair Alexander, he's been a Pro Bowler. He's been All-Pro for the Packers since he came into the league. Now that he's gone, you're going to need a corner to take his spot. That's why we signed Nate Hobbs, because we believe with his youth, with the time that he was with the Raiders and how he played in the slot for them, with how many little games that he played, he was very effective. And we believe with this system, with Jeff Hafley's system, with a lot better defensive players around him and a better scheme, that Nate Hobbs can definitely ascend to a really good corner for us. When you look at the depth chart for the Green Bay Packers defense, specifically the cornerback position, Carrington Valentine is a starting level corner, but I'm not gonna call him a Pro Bowl caliber corner. Then you have the safeties. That position is pretty much taken care of. Keyshawn Nixon, he's okay. I would say he's a mediocre corner at this moment, but the safety positions are set. It's just about the cornerbacks and whether they can hold in can hold on their end of the bargain, especially without the services of Jair Alexander. So Nate Hobbs, I've heard a lot of good things about Nate Hobbs in training camp. He's been physical. He's been very aggressive. He's been getting out of it. He has been getting kicked off the field a lot because of his over aggression during training camp, making hits that he shouldn't be making against his own teammates. But I digress. He seems like one of those aggressive physical corners that the Packers need in this system. And if he can develop and become that corner that they believe he will be for them, he's definitely going to make a huge difference to this defense, because remember, Jair Alexander was out for half of the season and they still were able to be a top 10 defense. Just imagine if you had a really good corner for the entirety of the season. Could that be Nate Hobbs? Who knows? Because he's also had his history of injuries as well. But he's young. He's only about 25 years old, so he still has youth on his sides. He hasn't played a whole bunch of snaps. Hopefully, when he gets into the system during the year, that he can improve because of the system and the players around him, and he can remain healthy. Number 3 on my list, I hate to put a lot of expectations on a rookie, but I got to go with Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden, a lot of people were shocked that the Packers picked Matthew Golden in the first round. Me personally, I thought that was the perfect pick, especially where he was projected. He was around the 23rd best player in the draft. The Packers picked him, I think, 23rd. So it makes a lot of sense. And he was a position of need. He was arguably the best wide receiver coming out of the draft. If you want to say Emeka Egbuka, by all means, but there's an argument to be made. Matthew Golden, Tetairoa McMillan, or Emeka Egbuka were the best wide receiver coming into the draft. And we were able to get him. His ability to make contested catches, his ability to route run is exactly what we need. Because if you remember, and I'll show you guys some statistics right now, the reason why the Packers decided to get Matthew Golden is for this very reason alone. So on Reddit, 3 Green Bay wide receivers were among the bottom 10 in drop rates last year. Jaden Reed had the second worst drop percentage in the NFL with 12%, and Dontavian Wicks had the third worst, and Romeo Doubs had the 7th worst. So you have 3 receivers starting for you that have the worst drop rates in the NFL. They're all bottom 10. You get what I'm saying? You need a receiver that Jordan Love can rely on to pass the football to on a consistent basis. And Matthew Golden, by all projections and what I've seen at Texas in big games with the quarterback that underthrew the ball a lot, he was able to come down with the football more times than not in 50-50 balls. Although it was 1 year, what a hell of a year it was for him. And I believe if the Packers want to go anywhere, they need to make sure that Matthew Golden is a part of that equation and that he gets the ball a lot and that he is productive when he gets the ball. And then also the last thing, Jordan Love isn't the greatest when it comes to deep ball accuracy. He'll underthrow the ball occasionally. He'll not make the greatest decisions. And when that happens, you need a receiver that can cover up some of his mistakes. That's where Matthew Golden comes in. Not every quarterback is going to be picture perfect. Matter of fact, no quarterback is picture perfect. So you're going to need a receiver to make a play. You're going to need a receiver to cover up your quarterback's mistakes. And last year, the Packers didn't have that. So hopefully with Matthew Golden, they can take that leap. This offense can take that leap, specifically the passing game, and we can get some sort of consistency from the wide receiver position. So Matthew Golden is number 3. Number 2 on my list, I'm going to go to the trenches. We're going to the defensive line. Devontae Wyatt is number 2 on my list. Number one, let me show you guys something real quick. But Devontae Wyatt, he has been an enigma. I don't know if he's good, really. I don't know if he's bad. He's shown spurts of when he's shown potential sometimes, and then other times I'm like, where is he at? So last year, Devontae Wyatt didn't even start for the team. It was TJ Slayton. Now, TJ Slayton, he's gone. He went to another team. I believe he went to the Bengals. But now Devontae Wyatt is starting in place of TJ Slayton. So why am I bringing up TJ Slayton? Well, TJ Slayton, he was at the top of defensive tackle run stop win rate. This is the starting D tackle for the Green Bay Packers in 2024. And when you look down on the list, the Green Bay Packers, when it comes to run stop win rate, were number 6. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But here's the deal. Now that TJ Slayton has gone to the Bengals and Devontae Wyatt is the starting defensive tackle now for this team alongside Kenny Clark, he's going to have to do a lot for this defensive line. He's going to have to improve his game tremendously because TJ Slayton isn't there anymore. And then also as a pass rusher, Devontae Wyatt needs to improve as well. He doesn't have to generate a whole bunch of sacks, but in terms of QB pressures, I want to see him improve in that area. Because when you look at Devontae Wyatt in 2024, he was on the bench for a reason. And in 2024, he had 5 sacks. That's good. That's not bad for a defensive tackle. But what I want to see him improve at in 2025 is pressures. Only 12 pressures in 2024. That's my problem with TJ Slayton. He's generating a good number of sacks, 5.5, 5 sacks. That's what you want for your D tackle. If I can get 5 sacks for my D tackle, that's great. But what I want what I want Devontae Wyatt to do this year is we need more pressures. We need more tackles for loss. That's what I'm looking for Devontae Wyatt. If he can do that, we're going to be great. We're going to be good on the defensive line then, because the defensive tackles, they are very important in setting the edge, and they can really help out with the pass rush. When we looked at the NFL draft in 2025, so many defensive tackles got picked in the first round because they are a dime a dozen. They are a jewel when it comes to defensive wise, because there's not a whole bunch of great defensive tackles that come out every single year. And this season, this NFL draft, there were a lot of very talented defensive tackles that got drafted in the first round. And Devontae Wyatt got drafted a couple of years ago. I believe it was in 2022, if I'm not mistaken, by Georgia in the first round. And we're still waiting for him to reach his potential. Hopefully this year, he can finally put it all together. He's going to get more snaps. He's going to be in the starting lineup. And we can see everything come together. If he can increase his pressure rate, his QB pressures, and continue to get 5 sacks for this squad, and be a good run stop defender, it's going to help tremendously for the Packers this year. If he can do that, that defense is going to be top 5, and we're going to be in consideration for Super Bowl contenders. That's number 2 on my list. And the last one on my list, number 1, I'm going back to the trenches again. This guy right here, he was also picked in the first round in 2023. And we've been waiting for him to reach his potential. I'm talking about Lucas Van Ness. He's another one of those guys that we're waiting on. We're waiting for him to reach his potential. And going back to the depth chart again, let's go back. Lucas Van Ness, as you can see, he's starting this year. So he has a lot that he's going to have to do. He's going to get a bunch of snaps. He's not going to be subbing in for anybody. No, he's going to be starting. And if we go back in time, let's just go back in time. This is in 2024, around November. Lucas Van Ness was on the bench. He was behind Preston Smith. And if we want to go a little bit further, let's go a little bit further. Let's go to 12. I believe Preston Smith got traded that year. But where is Lucas Van Ness? They moved him behind Rashawn Gary. So this year, Lucas Van Ness, he's going to be on the starting lineup. No question about it. He's going to be starting at the right defensive end. We're looking for him to make a significant jump as a pass rusher because his first 2 seasons weren't it. And I'm going to show you guys right now what I'm talking about. Lucas Van Ness in 2023, only 4 sacks. In 2024, only 3 sacks. Let's go down the list. Let's go to advanced stats. He had 10 pressures in 2024, and he had 12 pressures in 2023. He was worse in 2024 than he was in his rookie year. So what I want to see from Lucas Van Ness, I need him to be a way better pass rusher in 2025. He needs to show me that he was worth that first round pick that we gave him, that we drafted him, because he was the 13th pick, I believe, in the 2023 draft. That's a high pick. You're expecting big things from him. And when you look at his PFF grade, 53.8, he was ranked 162 out of 211 eligible defensive linemen. That's terrible. That's terrible. I need to see more from Lucas Van Ness. And that is my list. Now, obviously, I didn't put Jordan Love on here because that's pretty obvious as it is. You need your quarterback to play well in order for you to win games. But I wanted to put players that wasn't a quarterback, players that are not going to have the ball in their hands unless the quarterback throws to them, or they're trying to get to the quarterback, or they're trying to protect the quarterback. And these are the 5 players that I believe are going to determine the fate of the Green Bay Packers and whether they'll be a Super Bowl contender or not.